And right now, we're being joined by Lieutenant Colonel Glenn Grant. He's the former advisor to the Defense Minister of Ukraine and fellow at Politics Security Foundation. Welcome to the broadcast, Lieutenant Colonel Grant.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, I'll begin with my first question. And after nearly 2 years of war, both Russia and Ukraine are running out of ammunition. But who do you think has the upper hand right now?
I think, to be fair, Ukraine does. Because Russia has been fighting extremely hard in the last month or so and has made almost no gains whatsoever. Whereas the Ukrainians, even with the smaller numbers that you talked about previously, are still managing to hold on and inflict huge casualties on the Russian side. But this is a very complex situation right at the moment. Is that you mentioned a whole lot of things, and they're all happening all at the same time. But I don't believe that this is that there is a switch to suddenly that Russia is suddenly better than it was before. Russia is still throwing everything it's got at Ukraine, and Ukraine is still holding. Whatever anybody writes about it, the front line is holding and is holding steadily.
Lieutenant Colonel Grant, Ukrainians have volunteered to fight to defend their country from the beginning of the war. But with mounting losses right now, do you think war fatigue is setting in?
Oh, I think war fatigue is setting in on both sides, but that doesn't actually. But war fatigue doesn't actually reflect it within the country as a whole. Because what people are worried about is not the frontline fighting. What they're worried about is that the organisation of the government is not as efficient as it needs to be to make things happen. And you know, you mentioned that the new law in Parliament. Well, that law should have been a year ago. And this is typical of the Ukrainian government as it is. It talks extremely well, but an awful lot of the things that it needs to do in terms of management and organizational things are not done to the level that they need to be for a country at war. Hence, there are problems. So, but what you see in social media, what you're talking about in social media is the public beginning to get angry about this and beginning to want to make changes so that the front line is stronger and that the war is better conducted.
Lieutenant Colonel Grant, now, you know, the war has entered and stretched into 2024 now. How do you see the Russia-Ukraine war panning out in the near future?
Well, it's going to go on until one side or the other wins, and Ukraine is extremely. The Ukrainian public are determined that they are not going to lose this war, and as more people are killed in the front line, it's not creating, as you might suggest, that people wanting to give in. It's having the reverse effect. There is an increase in level of stubbornness and annoyance about the whole thing, and a determination to see the war through to the end. So I don't see it finishing in any time soon. It's certainly got another year to run at the moment, unless Russia collapses, because I can assure you Ukraine is not going to collapse.
On that note, Lieutenant Colonel Grant, thank you so much for joining us and giving us all those insights on this. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you very much.